PlayStation gets a big update, Stalker 2 is under attack, and Square Enix can't seem to get it right. My name is Josh, and we're going to be talking about all that and more as we discuss what's been happening in gaming lately. Let's start off with some huge Sony and PlayStation news. The PS5 had its biggest month ever in Japan, with sales up over 450% this February compared to February 2022. This is the first time the next-gen console has been able to outsell the Nintendo Switch in the region, selling nearly 376,000 units compared to the Switch at a little over 221,000, which is a nice win for Sony. Just for reference, in February 2022, the PS5 sold nearly 66,000, so a significant increase. The increase was also seen in other regions as well, notably the UK, which saw an over 300% increase during the same time period. Much of this is likely due to the increased availability of the console in these regions. Now, I checked while I was making this video and I was able to find some PS5 availability on numerous websites, which is great to see, since the PS5 just received a huge update. So, let's talk about it. The new PS5 update 7.00 released recently, adding some nice additional functionality. First, the update expands 1440p output features, including support for variable refresh rates at 1440p, with more modes and HDMI devices being supported. The update also makes it easier to transfer data between one PS5 to another. And the biggest addition, however, is the full Discord integration now available on the PS5. You'll be able to join Discord voice chats from the PS5 console with PC players as well, which will be a great quality of life addition for those who love using Discord. This plan was first announced all the way back in May of 2021, but it was unclear exactly when it would be happening. Well, here it is, and will automatically be installed on any PS5 that uses online services. The Sony PlayStation news doesn't stop there, as the ongoing battle between Sony and Microsoft keeps getting juicier. As you're probably well aware, Sony and Microsoft have been battling it out over Microsoft's Activision Blizzard acquisition, with a number of governing bodies also opposing it, including the FTC actually suing Microsoft over the deal. Much of the focus has surrounded the potential of a guaranteed deal between Sony and Microsoft to keep Call of Duty on the platform, with Phil Spencer going as far as pledging to keep releasing Call of Duty games on Sony's consoles, quote, as long as there's a PlayStation out there to ship to. The Call of Duty deal between Activision and Sony is set to end next year, with Call of Duty 2024, codenamed Cerberus, set to be the final release of the deal. According to Activision Blizzard's CCO, Cheng Mazurvi, Sony's Jim Ryan isn't concerned about a new Call of Duty deal, but simply just doesn't want the merger to happen at all, stating that Ryan reportedly said, quote, I don't want a new Call of Duty deal, I just want to block your merger. Mazurvi has stated that the proposed 10-year deal from Microsoft is even reportedly better than what Activision Blizzard would have offered them without the merger. According to Game Rant, Sony's feverish opposition to the deal has recently resulted in them being court-ordered to reveal numerous trade secrets, including details of exclusivity deals covering the past 4 years, which was reduced down from the requested 10 years that Microsoft wanted. With Sony's record of having some of the industry best console exclusive games, it appears that Microsoft is looking to use this as a selling point as to why the deal should go through. Now, this battle is far from over, and it'll be interesting to see where it goes from here. Now, I feel the deal will eventually go through, but with some concessions from Microsoft to satisfy the growing opposition, but it's really hard to say. Be sure and let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Stalker 2 recently posted an unfortunate update, in which the team detailed they have been targeted by a cyber attack threatening to leak over 30 gigabytes of game data if their demands were not met. I'll read a few quotes from what they had to say on the matter. Recently, our employees' account for a collective Work with Images application was hacked. The responsibility for this was claimed by a community from a Russian social network. They are threatening to use the obtained data for blackmail and intimidation. This is not the first attempt to hack and leak our data, including personal information. We have been enduring constant cyber attacks for more than a year now. We have faced blackmail, acts of aggression, hacks, attempts to hurt players and fans, and efforts to damage the development process or the reputation of our company. They go on to discuss their difficulties that they've had with development and just being Ukrainian in general with the ongoing war. And further on, they stated this: we'd like to express our deepest appreciation for our loyal community. We are overwhelmed by the response and support we have received from you. Thank you for that, each and every member of the GSC Game World team. Our mission is to commit all of our strength and passion to complete the project and deliver it to you despite all the obstacles on the way. Your support is our inspiration. It's highly unfortunate that the developers at CSG Game World are having to deal with these attacks, but much credit to them for not backing down and continuing to work on this game, especially given their situation. The game was previously delayed to allow for longer development and additionally was stopped for some time due to the development team, like we said, being based in Ukraine. and they also had to relocate to continue their development. Throughout the development cycle, they have posted updates about their journey from before and now during the conflict, with some of their team members even joining the Ukrainian military to serve. The game is tentatively set for a December 2023 release date. My best wishes to the team and the people of Ukraine. Jumping into some Grand Theft Auto and related news, we have an update on a potential GTA 6 release window, and 50 Cent drops some news, then deletes some news. Let's discuss. According to a reputable Rockstar insider Tez2, GTA 6 is aiming for a holiday 2024 release. This release date has been previously speculated by numerous sources, but this helps to further confirm what has been previously thought true. While holiday 2024 is the planned time frame, the insider reported that they wouldn't be surprised if it was pushed back further into 2025. And I doubt many of us would either. There had previously been concerns that the game's development timeline would take a hit after the serious leak back in September 2022, where a user posted over 90 early build gameplay videos to the GTA forums. Take-Two later confirmed that the hack would not affect the game's development and that there was, quote, no evidence that any material assets were taken. I feel like with the popularity of the Grand Theft Auto franchise and just the scale that development of a game like this must have, we'll likely continue to get leaks and information on a regular basis, which is quite unfortunate for Rockstar and their teams, but that just seems the way of things now. 50 Cent posted something this week that made a lot of us think he would be involved in the upcoming GTA 6. That turned out not to be the case, but it still had a lot of people talking. 50's GTA Vice City posts were actually referring to an unrelated TV show named Vice City that he's involved with, which is being developed for Paramount Plus. According to Deadline, the show will be set in 80s Miami, following three friends and former soldiers as they return home. With minimal prospects, they partner with a Colombian immigrant to form a heist crew, and I'm sure you can guess where it might go from there. If it's done well, it sounds like it could be an interesting project, but as we learned, it doesn't actually have anything to do with GTA 6. Moving on to Square Enix, Forspoken, and blockchain games. As you may know, 2022 was less than a stellar year for Square Enix, and 2023 has not started as they'd have hoped. The company has seen a 7% sales decrease year over year, and with the recent release of Forspoken, sales have not gotten a huge boost. Forspoken was clearly a disappointing title for Square Enix, with the game getting highly mixed reviews. And during a recent financial call, President, or should I now say former President, Matsuda called the game's sales, quote, lackluster. Square Enix further went on to say, quote, reviews of Forspoken, which we released on January 24th, 2023, have been challenging. However, the game has also received positive feedback on its action features, including its parkour and combat capabilities, so it has yielded results that will lead to improvements of our development capabilities of other games in the future. They continue by saying, quote, that said, its sales have been lackluster, and while the performance of new titles with February and March release dates will be the ultimate determinant, we will see considerable downside risk to our financial year 2023 earnings. This information comes following the news that Luminux Productions, the developers behind Forspoken, would be merged into Square Enix to, quote, further bolster the competitive prowess of the group's development studios. However, it's not all doom and gloom for the company, as they still have the next Final Fantasy title releasing in June, which could be huge for them, and the recent release of Octopath Traveler 2 scored very well, with an 84% on Metacritic and an overwhelmingly positive rating on Steam. However, the financial briefing did include one final piece of information that I hope will not come to fruition. Within the briefing, this quote had me really worried. Major title launches will not be concentrated solely in financial year 2024. We have organized our pipeline so that we have a good spread of new releases in financial year 2025 and beyond as well. We also hope you will look forward to the blockchain games we have to launch in financial year 2024 and thereafter. Yeah, you heard that right. Blockchain games. You want to buy an NFT? It appears that even after the repeated backlash that proposed blockchain games have received, companies are still looking to push these elements into games, even after gamers have shown that they're just not really that interested. The former president and CEO Matsuda was highly bullish on NFT and crypto projects. So while they still have some plans for the future regarding blockchain-based projects, it'll be interesting to see if they continue with this plan or pivot away now that the leadership change has been made. However, I probably wouldn't get your hopes up, as according to Kotaku, the new CEO was previously general manager to a business group exploring projects in the metaverse. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see where the future takes Square Enix. So let's move on to some rapid review items. We have another court ruling against loot boxes, some new release dates being revealed, and some new delays. So let's discuss. In the fight against loot boxes, an Austrian court has ruled that FIFA packs do constitute gambling, with Eurogamer reporting that Sony has been ordered to issue refunds. The court reportedly alleged that the loot boxes can be classified as, quote, illegal gambling. Most of the claims range in the hundreds of euros, but in another quote, particularly extreme case, it is even up to 85,000 euros. While this is a nice step, other countries such as Belgium, for example, that have taken action against loot boxes have been seen to not consistently uphold their own rulings. However, it's always a good thing to see more regulation in this area, if only the US and other countries would follow suit. The Last of Us Part 1 PC specs have been revealed. I'll leave a link down below for you to check them out more in depth, but here's a quick overview. You're going to need a minimum of an AMD Radeon RX 5800 or an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2070 Super. And if you want to run the game at 4K at 60 FPS, you're going to need some serious firepower. I'm talking an AMD RX 7900 or an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4080. And no matter what you're running, guys, the game is going to take up approximately 100 gigabytes of storage space. But like I said, link in the description if you'd like to know more about that. And it's going to be releasing on March 28th, 2023. According to Insider Gaming, the long-rumored CounterStrike 2 is on the way and will launch in beta sometime soon. This is based on sources close to Richard Lewis, a prominent and longtime member of the CounterStrike community. According to Lewis, quote, "The new version is almost certainly set to be released under the working title CounterStrike 2, and the tentative release date for the beta is this month of March, with April 1st at the outside." So, that's something to keep a lookout for. Speaking of betas, Capcom quietly dropped a Resident Evil 4 chainsaw demo on the 9th. It's now available to play on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. If you're a fan of the series and looking forward to the game, it's definitely worth giving a try before the game releases on March 24th. And while we're on the topic of Capcom, Exoprimal, the upcoming third-person shooter, will have a release date of July 14th, 2023. Exoprimal is an online team-based action game set in the year 2040, where you will take on the role of an exosuit pilot to help save humanity from a sudden dinosaur outbreak, threatening to destroy humanity. There will be different roles to choose from, such as assault, tank, and support. This is one that I haven't seen much about, so I may have to do some more research and learn more because it looks pretty interesting. Last week we discussed rumors that a Starfield showcase was imminent. Well, now we know when the next Starfield Direct show will be, and that is Sunday, July 11th. And even bigger news, we now have a solid release date for the game of September 6, 2023. Now this is later than the planned Q1 of 2023, but that's not surprising considering we haven't really heard much about a solid date so far, and Q1 is over the end of March. In the announcement trailer, Todd Howard had this to say.
"There's so much that we still have to show you. The game has many of the hallmarks that you'd expect from us, but it's also a very unique experience."
So with Starfield being one of my most anticipated games, I absolutely cannot wait until that showcase and can't wait to get my hands on the game. Hogwarts Legacy has been delayed for the PS4 and Xbox One. Avalanche and Warner Brothers recently announced that they simply needed more time to deliver the quote, best possible experience. The new date will be May 5th, 2023, still considerably ahead of the planned Switch release date of July 25th. Now I know previous gen fans will be very disappointed to hear that news, but I always feel like it's better to have a game that's done correctly, that's mostly bug-free, released the first time than having to redo things and just wait and wait for it to get fixed. We don't want it to release a disaster, so hopefully they can get everything patched up by then. And speaking of delays, we have another big one. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League has been delayed once again. According to a report from Bloomberg's Jason Schreier, Warner Brothers has delayed the game from its May 26 release date to add even more polish to the game. While we're not totally sure upon a definite release date, it looks like it's still going to remain within the 2023 timeline. However, Jason Schreier made it clear in a follow-up tweet that it was unlikely that they would be changing core gameplay mechanics even given this delay, stating, quote, "Suicide Squad started off as a game as a service and will remain one short of a complete reboot, which would require a much longer delay." During the recent State of Play, fans were extremely upset with the gameplay and accompanying features that were shown. So, let me know your thoughts on the situation. Is this a game that you were looking forward to, and are you still looking forward to it after that showcase? Be sure and let me know. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep up with what's happening in gaming lately, then be sure and subscribe. Also, be sure and check out one of the other videos on your screen.